As Senator Von Hollen wasn't enough, now we have four more Democrats joining for the demand of the release from a affirmed gang member, an MS-13 member, which was deemed a foreign terrorist organization. Let's check out these video clips and see how ridiculous this charade has got.
What's really important is that Donald Trump is defying a 9-0 decision of the Supreme Court to bring Abrego-Garcia back home to the United States. Lower courts have affirmed that. The administration has said they sent him here by accident, and this is a massive due process crisis in our country. Donald Trump.
What do you know? Is there any chance you'll be meeting with Abrego-Garcia while you're there?
Well, we're actually about to do a press conference to speak a little bit about this, but we got word at the embassy that our request has been denied by the government here locally. They say it's because we're not here on an official capacity. This is part of the reason why Representative Robert Garcia and I sent a letter to Chairman Comer of the Oversight Committee asking for this to be an official CODEL, but we're not giving up.
Congresswoman Maxine Dexter here, coming to you from El Salvador. I flew here last night with 3 of my colleagues to demand that Abrego-Garcia.
Congresswoman Ansari, what else did you learn while you were there? Did the Salvadoran government tell you why it would not allow your visit with Abrego-Garcia?
No, so we made the request directly through the U.S. Embassy and the U.S. Ambassador in El Salvador and were unfortunately rejected. That's why we escalated the request directly to Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
The internet is undefeated, and you can see right here from this tweet from 2017 that Senator Von Hollen is a hypocrite. Back then, he advocated for us getting rid of MS-13. Now he's advocating for the return of a MS-13 member. It's funny how times change and then narratives change. They're willing to die on this hill for a member of a foreign terrorist organization? Tell me how that makes sense, because I'm not getting it. President Trump trolled the entire Abrego-Garcia situation with a picture that showed the tattoos on his fingers of MS-13, which is MS-13. He was deported for that and for this article right here. In 2022, he had been caught for trafficking, and the FBI under Biden let him go. 2 different presidents, 2 different rules of law. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you find value from this video, please buy us a cup of coffee. We would deeply appreciate it. And for those on TikTok, please don't forget to like, follow, and add this video to your favorites. I would deeply appreciate it. Here goes Congressman Eric Schmitt voicing his opinion on just how ridiculous this whole charade has gotten. And if you listen to it, it makes sense. You know, common sense isn't always common. And apparently, common sense is only a Republican thing right now instead of being an all-encompassing thing. It's weird. Check this out.
Shannon Bream asked him, did you ask him to defend himself from, 2 judges and really 3 suggested that he was part of a gang in the first 2 and that he needed to be avoiding another gang perhaps by the 3rd judge. And here's what he said, Senator. Watch.
I did not ask him directly because he's answered that question repeatedly, as his lawyers have. My purpose in going there was to, number one, see if he was alive, see if he was healthy, take his story. I want to be very clear. I'm not vouching for the man. I'm vouching for the man's rights, his constitutional rights to due process.
What do you make of that argument, Senator?
It's all performative politics right now for the Democrats. It's all they have. It's because they got stomped at the ballot box in November by a President Trump, who actually ran on the idea of making this country great, ran on deporting people who are here illegally, especially those criminal elements. And there's more than 1 million of those of the 20 million that came here illegally. So they lost that argument with the American people. And now I think through this sort of combination of Trump derangement syndrome and their disdain that many of the Democrats in Washington have for just normal Americans, that comes through. It's why they've lost working class voters. But this is the focus of their attention now. I can't really believe it, but they're going with this. And so I think it's an opportunity for us to continue to have this debate about how detrimental illegal immigration has been for this country.
Which brings me to the question of this video. How do you feel about Democrats lobbying for immigrants to stay in this country illegally, even though they have committed crimes and are a documented gang member and also a documented domestic abuser. How do you feel that they're protecting the interests of those people and not the interests of the American citizens? Let me know in the comment section below. That's it for the Vasquez Report. I'm Angel. See you next time.